All right, guys, it's Bird Nerd here. I'm excited to bring you this video because not only do I have new birds that I'm going to be introducing into my aviary, but I also have new birds that were hatched and raised in my aviary. And if you guys had watched any of my other previous videos, you will know that I had mentioned that my shaft-tail finches have bred. I actually have two pairs. So I have one in the aviary closest to us, and then I have a second pair on the aviary furthest from me. And both pairs bred and have chicks. And yesterday evening, one clutch of our chicks fledged, and I'm gonna show you them right there. So these are my shaft-tail chicks. Actually, when they fledge, they look just like Parsons finches. They've got the dark black beaks and the black bib, but that's just the baby shaft-tails. And when they get older, their beaks will turn orange like the normal shaft-tail does. And so mom and dad raised these guys all by themselves. I didn't have to foster them. And I've had such a struggle in the last several years trying to breed the shaft-tails in cages. And so I finally decided I'm gonna build some special type nest boxes, specifically in hopes to target my shaft-tails and my cutthroats, and see if I can get them to breed out in the aviary where they have a lot more space. They feel a lot safer and more secure to raise their chicks. And in the cage setting, I never had an issue getting them to hatch their chicks. I always had an issue with them raising their chicks and feeding them. And they were always tossing. The chicks never made it past a few days old. And it just was really frustrating. And so, I'm really excited that we were able to wean, or not wean, but raise chicks and fledge them and be able to, hey buddy, and be able to have some success there. And once the chicks on the other side, once they fledge, I'll highlight those. I actually peeked in the nest today, which I typically don't with my shaft-tails. I try and keep them, as secretive and non-invasive as I can, but I did check the other nest, and they've got two chicks that are probably about gonna fledge here in the next day or two, and then there's a third chick that looks a little bit behind, so hopefully it will make it, but we'll see kind of what happens there. So just wanted to show you guys this first highlight that I'm super excited about. I also checked, at the same time I checked my shaft-tails, I checked the other side of the nest because I kind of have like a 3 nests connected into one type deal, where I've noticed my cutthroats breeding, and I looked in there and saw 3 chicks in there as well. So they're a little bit younger. They look to be about 3 to 4 days old. So fingers crossed that we can get the cutthroats to raise them and get them fledged. I would be super excited for that. That would just be awesome. There's the shaft-tail parents down there. They're getting some food, getting ready to feed their chicks. And so just wanted to show you that highlight, and we'll show you the next surprise or gift that we got here for the aviary in just a minute. Okay, so like I'd mentioned before, I was able to get some new birds, some new additions that we're gonna put out into the aviary, some new species, and then also some new bloodlines. And so really excited about this. It's been a little while since I've been able to get my hands on some new birds. Just with the pandemic, it seemed like the bird market just went down the drain, and we weren't able to have much success finding some new birds and new bloodlines. And I try really hard, at least once a year, to try and introduce some new bloodlines into my aviaries, especially with my canaries and especially with my Goldien finches. And we were able to get us a few additions here. So I got 3 female Goldien finches, and they are still young. Unfortunately, that was about all that I could find was the young Goldien finches. I typically wait till they are colored out before I buy them, but wasn't able to do that. And so we've had them in quarantine for about 2 weeks in my house now, and we're getting ready to put them in some of the cages inside my shed. And so we'll leave them in the cages inside the shed for probably about a week or so just to make sure they're used to the climate and the environment out here. And then we'll introduce them into the aviary where they can get some exercise. So we've got 3 Goldien hens, 2 blackheads and 1 redhead. So excited about that. And then I also got a pair of African silverbill finches, which I've never owned silverbill finches before. I've always wanted them. They are definitely not common around these parts. They're kind of hard to find. And so I snagged hopefully a pair. You can't visually sex them that very well. And so I'm hoping that I got a pair that I'll be throwing out in the aviary. And then I got a trio of gray singer finches, which I'm really excited about, and hope that we can, hopefully we'll get a pair out of the 3, and see if we can maybe try and attempt to breed our gray singer finches. That's something that I've never owned or been able to do before as well. So hopefully we can make that work and be able to have some success there. And then if you guys remember, it was about last year, I had got me a pair of scarlet chested grass keats, and my male, I only had him for about a month, and then he suddenly passed away. I came in the aviary and he was dead on the floor, and I was super heartbroken. These birds are really expensive right now, especially where we're at. So I just had my female, and I had another breeder reach out to me and say, hey, you know, can you loan your female to me, and we'll get you know, some chicks in the future. And I said, yeah, sure, let's do that. I'm all for that, and in hopes that we can get a pair back in the future. And well, the breeder reached out to me, and she has multiple pairs, and she had some babies that she's DNA sexed. So the one on the ground to the left is a male, and then the one on the right is a female. She's DNA sexed them because they are still young. They're not showing their adult feathers yet. But she reached out and said she had a pair for me, and so we swung by and snagged this 2 pair. And so they're super calm, quiet birds. I love the grass keats. They're in the same family as the borks, and I'm really excited about them, and to be able to add them to the aviary in hopes to bring some color, just some different looks. And if they breed for me in the future, that'd be great. Like I said, they're just chicks, so we won't even attempt to try and breed them until next year. So I just brought the birds out here to get a little bit of fresh air and to wait until I cleaned out my aviary so that they weren't super scared and nervous. And then we'll throw them in their cages, their holding cages inside the shed, to let them get acclimatized to the warm weather we have already here in Utah. And just be able to get used to their surroundings before I let them go out in the aviary for the rest of the summer and winter. So really excited about that. Really excited to add the new Goldien blood lines to my already breeding population and colony that I have here. And so this will be really nice. And what I'm most excited for is they're all 3 purple breast, which is great because I have mostly white breasted right now. And so I'm trying to bring some of that purple breast back into my colony, and be able to pair up purple breast and white breast, or just purple breast together, which I think would be really great. So super excited for the birds. We'll give you more updates as we go along, and show you the progress, and show you the 3 female Goldiens as they molt out, to give you a good idea of what they'll look like once they're molted out, and where we're at if we were able to get some true pairs with our silver bills and our gray singers. And if not, we'll keep you updated on that as well. So thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed them. We'll see you next time.